Welcome to the Jehovih Chronicles with your host, Cosmon Cal.
Creative gang is crazy. Boy, y'all better pay attention.
Yeah.
Jason Nero put the record out.
Creative gang coming, creative gang coming. Turning up the light and watch some boys start running. Let me tell you something, we ain't out here doing nothing. I can tell you scared, boy, niggas stop fronting. It was all in the plan, comprehension, understand. Breaking boys off like created did the plan. Cooler than the band, who you fooling, man? We be tearing shit up like we're tape and some bands. Conscious community, yeah, we in demand. They hunger for the truth, debate or the booth. Sourcing up with the proof, AU on the tooth. Catch me in the candy painted octagon coupe. Step in my boots while I'm knocking mines loose. You be the cobra, I be the mongoose. Plant base in my suit, meditate on my fruit. Red Star training, who let the gods loose?
Capacitor course check is okay. Fusion.
We fight as a single, impenetrable unit. That is the source of our strength.
Right back like I left something. You host with the most, whole neck toast like roach clip Cosmoni. Right back up in this thing. Hey, just wanted to finish up on some of this book of the Ascension. You dig what I'm talking about? Without further ado, we just gonna go ahead cook. I think I'll turn it up just a tad bit in the background. Right, and we'll just get into the book of Ascension, just to go back, show, you know what I mean? This is the book of Ascension, mystic inspiration about the path of spiritual ascension from our mortal world to the heavens above, written by the Essenes of Cosmon. Yes, those Essenes, 1938. We were down here, right? And this is where we were at. All right. All right. Think also of that great resurrection into the higher world of those who by very impulse that we give rise to the higher heights, carried forward by the impetus of grace and outflowing of the light. Hard may be the striving, suffering is the way of the cross of creation. Yet the spirit is perfected through trial, and the gods themselves have gone the same path. That's interesting. Saying God goes through the same thing even men have. Hard may be the striving. Suffering is the way of the cross of creation. Yet the spirit is perfected through trial or practice. And gods themselves have gone the same path. This is the path of attainment. And in its glory of individualization perfected. So individualization perfected is the Godhead. I'll read it back through if y'all didn't catch that. Hard may be the striving, suffering is the way of the cross of creation. The high and the low, the left and the right. Yet the spirit, your spirit, is perfected through trial. And the gods, who are one time living, breathing man and spirits themselves now, the gods themselves have gone the same path you are going through right now, in spiritual perfection called life. They've gone through that same path too. Now, this path of attainment, learning and knowledge, right? And in it is the glory of individualization perfected, right? So reaching a point on that path of attainment, right? A perfected individual is, in a sense, God. Individualization perfected is the Godhead. Let us look this day for strengthening on the path of forthgoing. Let us here await the coming of Ahiba, and that same Ahiba, which is kind of like a redemption, like a restitution, like a rejuvenation. So any of the people who looking for restitution coming down today, this is the word you probably want to look into. This is going to be in a major outpushing in the United States today, being pushed by the faithists, Ahiba, or redemption, along with Amareth, another word we're going to learn, a sort of like forgiveness. But that's forgiveness on both sides. But with that forgiveness comes a redemption. That's a heba, right? So if for those who saying, "No, you not never we're gonna get reparations, restitution, redemption," you're not gonna get that. Creator says they're wrong, all right? And this is why I talk about it is so heavy, because the likes of understanding of things like a heba right here is coming out. And that same Ahiba shall be the very help the angelic company shall bring into our surroundings, strengthening our purpose, aiding our hearts to face the problems of life. The influence they bring shall stay with us. Their souls shall bend with ours, so that the power shall be a lasting power. Thus did our ancient master and teacher Zarathustra establish a ready means to our aid. Thus did he command those of his day to set up the wheel of Ormaz. Again, we're going to get into, I got a whole bill on the wheel of Ormaz, and we're going to show it across the world, but we're going to definitely put a little emphasis on the wheel of Ormaz in America, because they found them. Many of them are made out of rock. That any who might try that in thus seeking the way of ministry by the angels in light should be made possible unto mortals. Excuse me. So they're saying the wheel of Ormaz helps you come into oneness with high-raised angels to do good works. Anybody heard anything evil yet? Right? Let's keep cooking. Come, therefore, let the heart be centered in the mystery of redemption. Ahiba. Come, and in this unity make manifest on earth the ministry of angels, and raising out of the service a new song shall gladden the skies, even the song of the redeemed by love. Right? With that redemption, or prior to that redemption comes a forgiveness. But a forgiveness for what? And this is why redemption happens, and this is why restitution, reparation, rejudification, all these things are coming up under this redemption process, right? And this is a world thing. So, yeah, you dig what I'm talking about? Above the fact that Jaja say till you get the most hated man in the world today, the Negro of America, the most despised, and you hate him today. He said, until you do right by them, until you get us right in this world and the next, ain't no getting right for you in this world or the next. So I ain't say it. I didn't say it. Get mad at Jaja. But then again, it is the only book in the world that tells you what happens to slave master and the slave. Right? And I'm not saying we the slaves. I'm just saying what happens. What he got to clean up. All right, let's go down some more. This is the second chapter called The Harvest. In the times of great rejoicing, if anybody knows, there will be a harvest on the 200-year count. Extra faith is bonus points if you can tell me what year is the 200th year of the Cosmon era. Anybody? If anybody can tell me what year is the 200th year of the Cosmon era, put it in the chat for you, brother. Right? Let me see if I can blow that up. I can blow that up a little more. Let's go. In times of great rejoicing, we should seek the Father in prayer. It is not sufficient to confine our supplications to times of perplexity. But, niggas only really do be praying when it's, when the pressure on. Help me, Lord. I ain't gonna do it no more. Just give me home. I ain't gonna drink no more. That's when they get to praying. You dig what I'm talking about? After you already in trouble. So they saying, before you ever get into that, pray for them good times you having too. You know what I mean? Don't just wait till you in some mess. For what greater need have we then? No matter what grade we may have attained, there are still greater heights unto which we have to climb. Remembering also that there are those around us that need our help, even our help through prayer. Moreover, are we not aware that there are powers associated with the heights unto which we have attained, and that these powers can be commanded only by those who have reached this at one mint with them? Therefore, it is written in the Holy Word that those who have attained in some measure are responsible for those who are in the grades below. Shout to the Creator gang. You bring them, we raise them. Where I'm at. Prayer. Hold on. Prayer directed in a particular way. Prayer directed in a particular way will be more effective in the way it is directed than if addressed in a general way. Though the united prayer of those in faith will bring results in proportion to the effort put forth and the will of the all light as touching the matter. It said it will, not that it could. By prayer. By prayer, we set the whole universe of soul vibrating with our expressed desire, even as a stone cast into the pool causes the surface to be thrown into rhythmic waves. So that's what they saying prayer is. Prayer is the vibration or desire expressed throughout the universe. And the thought or the prayer alone cause like a ripple effect. Yet it is even more than that. Where are we at right here? It is even more than that. It is the identification of ourself with the All One as an expression of his love, wisdom, and power. Let me read that again. Yet it is even more than that. Prayer. It is the identification of ourself with the All One as an expression of his love, wisdom, and power. By this coming into at one-ment or oneness with the universe of one's very being is awakened and the soul is free. Interesting. O child of faith, we have but to rise away from matter to acknowledge that the soul is S, and that he who lives and reigns at the center and at the circumference is indeed he who permeates the whole. All we do not also say, or do we not also say, that his attributes are wisdom, love, and power? We desire that these attributes shall be unfolded within us, so that we often pray, unfold within me thine attributes, O Creator, that I may manifest forth thy light. That is an all-embracing prayer. Shall we not also ask for whatever may help us in the path of unfoldment? That would be a particular prayer. When we identify ourselves with the Father by faith through prayer, we affirm our sonship or daughtership with him, so that it shall come to pass, we be quickened in the light, shall receive of his love through the ministry of his angels who work to do his will. So they saying, just like in Owaspy, that this is going to be a thing you see, not no spooky ghost walking around. This somebody's about to come knock on your door and sit down and have a prayer with you and then talk to you. I wonder when that's going to start happening, to where you be able to see him. It say around Dan time, right around Semi-Dan. Let me see if anybody put it in the chat. What year is the Semi-Dan? Anybody know what year is the 200-year Semi-Dan? Let me see. The 200th year of the Cosmon arc cycle is correct. Who is that? That's Bishop X. Bishop X. Get 50 extra Cosmon points, Faithist points, nigga. Got 50 extra Faithist points on there. Throw them Faithist points on there. Definitely earned that. That is the next harvest cycle at the 200-year Semi-Dan. 21 years from now, or excuse me, 23 years from now, it is the 177th year of the Cosmon era, 2025. And we kicking up towards the 200-year mark, right? Let's get back to this. Prayer is the lifting up the heart to the Heavenly Father, expressing its inmost desire. The power in prayer lies in the fact that we put into some form of expression that which we feel. It becomes creative by the power of thought. Faith, which is the affirmation of the heart and mind, when expressed in prayer, immediately puts us into attunement with Creator. This is why we always tell y'all to get back in line with Creator. Come on home. You dig what I'm talking about? Because what prayer actually does is immediately puts you in tune with the Jehovah or the Creator, right? Faith does that though, but through prayer. So when it was that you thought it was Jesus coming back to answer them prayers, even when you was duped, we now know that false gods can't answer prayers, right? They can't. They can curse, but they can't answer prayers. So when it was that you was praying and something happened and it came out and you was like, man, I know that was quote unquote God. It is a different type of understanding to know that because of your faith, that puts you in attunement with Creator, so that a higher angelic being of his order actually came and did the deed, and the false god that you was praising under the religious ideology took the credit. He ain't even care. Right? The high range angel did say, hey, yo, why you praising? Are you still praising Christ? It was because of your faith That puts you in tune with Creator. So that's what was that's why your prayer was allowed to be heard. And because Jah all powerful, he answered. It's never the bad guy. Even when you praising the bad guy and something, and you pray for that thing and it actually happened, it's the good guy answering. He even cleaned up the mess after the bad guy. That's when you know you powerful. You trying to stop him on one end. You dig what I'm talking about? Like, look, bro, but you can't like force him to be good. He got to do that on his own. So you trying to limit what he can do on one side, and then on the other side, you cleaning up his mess after him. Right? Still keeping something going on to try to limit the damage that he's naturally doing with his negative behavior. You got to be powerful to do that. Right? And those are the differences between a false God and a true God. True God's power is unlimited because he rocked with the source. False gods are limited. Right? They limited to just what they know. Right? It is as if the whole universe of angelic life hears a note struck at its center, and the vibrating of this note rang out throughout the whole of the celestial realm. Your prayer was able to be heard, or the vibe was sent because of faith. Hence, faithism. By prayer, we start a vibration. By prayer, we make manifest the light of faith that is within us. Thus, it is that prayer, even momentarily, links us with the source of our origin, the Creator. Then, for what shall we ask? Pray for what ye will, but let it be direct, soul-centered, without doubt or fear as to that for which ye ask, being true and right. Since all things affect us on external planes, since all things, check this, since all things that affect us on the external planes, which may be described as themes in the order of our destiny or fate, have their origin on the internal planes. Since all things that affect us on the external planes, which may be described as themes in the order of our destiny or fate, have their origin on the internal planes, it will follow that a direct answer to prayer will quicken the process of our development. So shall we unfold and our destiny be revealed to us as a scroll that is unrolled before our eyes. They also say something hinting towards this in the first book of God. I think it's 28, where it tells you how holy books are written, where the scrolls of heaven are brought down in the line of fire to man's mind, right? And it unfolds before him, and it plays before him, and he writes what those people experienced at that time. So it's never a guess. That's dope. So that kind of hints towards that, and because this ability, right, is what we would call, to unfold your destiny and reveal it to yourself as a scroll. That is called clairvoyance, clairaudience, an ability to see the future or tell the future, used within a technique called and a tool called the Orakno Umbungala. or the timetables of light of prophecy. And with that type of understanding, you dig what I'm talking about. It brings an even greater revelation that what we're explaining is the actual time travel. You don't actually get in a machine, right, and go back to time, right? You go into self and bring time to you. You dig what I'm saying? That's actually how time travel works. And that's what they're explaining in this last verse that we read. So that even as we pray, let us rejoice, because to know the will of the all light is to rejoice in the all light. To rejoice in the all light is to dispel all darkness from our eyes. It says, Father, I rejoice in thee. This joy quickens my soul. The inner fire of pure emotion, free from passion, fear, or misgiving, causes the holy ones to draw near, as we are at once companions with them. Their presence becomes an objective reality, and in this association, the deeper communion is enhanced. By their radiant presence, we are inspired to attain unto the grades of their particular unfoldment, and this means for us transcendence, which in its turn means that we cannot be limited by physical or corporeal things as hitherto. We are now free in the light of the heavenly love. And kind of makes sense now that they're coming with a text. If this is coming into oneness with the higher angelic beings, coming to a point of transcendence where they are getting these direct downloads from the angelic beings themselves, and the beings raising them up, not them pulling the beings down. Well, a book or, some words of encouragement to help people ascend higher, that would be a simple thing, even for a group of men to do. I remember somewhere, I forget exactly where it was, but I think it was JBN who was saying, if man would just adhere to the dietary laws in OWASP, he said, just by the overall raising up of the people by itself, just having a better diet, he said it would be 1,000 OWASPs out here. You know what I mean? He said it'd be hundreds and thousands of them. You know what I mean? Because that cuts it on, right? Your diet cuts the higher light on. I know it sounds simple, and I know it sounds dumb, and I know it sounds hard, but that's what it is. It's your diet. Now, does that stop light from getting in? No. Will that stop you from getting a blessing because you eat a ham sandwich? No, it don't stop nothing, and it don't stop you from doing no good, right? You can do good all you want, right? And that would be more important than your diet. But you're going to have to learn one way or the other. And there are benefits for being able to tame your stomach. One of those benefits is the misnomer of what they call the sixth sense, right? It builds up clairvoyance, clairaudience, the ability to hear, see spirits, and catch the quote-unquote vibe. Really, that is just being more consciously aware of Jaja. I swear that's all it is. and making it make sense, right? Because remember, Jaja is common sense. If it ain't logically right, if it don't make common sense, it ain't him and it ain't right. Right? That's a simple way to know if you on the right path. If it don't logically make no sense, it ain't Jaja. You dig what I'm saying? He says, I'll go back and read it. Father, I rejoice in thee. This quickens my soul. The inner fire of pure emotion, free from passion, fear of misgiving, causes the holy ones to draw near. As we are at one companions with them, their presence becomes an objective reality, real, not some spook. You know what I mean? Sitting by the closet door, something you can see, feel. What was really going on with the Essenes? Cosmon. Huh? What was really going on? By their radiant presence, we are inspired to attain unto grades of their particular unfoldment. So that would be like being with an Asaf. And whatever his grade is, he trying to pull you and the people you with up to him. It's dope. And this means for us, what? Transcendence. Facts. Because the stuff he telling you ain't gonna get it nowhere else. You know what I mean? If you ain't going to the spirit to get it, you can't get it. Right? Those of us who know that they've dealt with the spirit. You dig what I'm talking about? They know I ain't playing. Yeah, people may say, "Oh, you spooky and all that," but when you know that you have had that real spiritual experience, bro, can't nobody change your mind. That stuff is life altering. Man, if you've ever had like some real like spiritual ghostly, whatever you want to call it, some real spiritual stuff, bro, that stuff changed your life. You don't never look at life the same. Not after that stuff. You know what I mean? If you ever astral traveled, you know it. Right? You ever spoke to a spirit or something, you know it. It don't matter what people say about you. You know it's real. You dig what I'm saying? And can't nobody change your idea and way about it. And that's just what it is. Some people get it and some people don't. But what they saying is, look, by dealing with these high-raised angels, just even trying to think on the levels that they trying to think with, coming into communion with these, nigga, they raising us up. It ain't nothing but benefit to us, which in turn means that we cannot be limited by corporeal, physical things as hitherto or since before, like before. We can't be limited no more. We are now free in the light of heavenly love. The spirits of the lower planes, who hitherto had an object in ensnaring us, find they now have no power to enter into the ore which we have built up. We are, what did it say? We are free in the light. And so it is that when the harvest has come, listen, when the harvest has come and the earth has brought forth its abundance, it is well to rejoice in the bounteousness of the giver of all gifts. Because if we do so, we once again identify our relationship with him in rejoicing, for he is joy. To rejoice, to make happy, to look on the bright side of things is to manifest this joy. Seeing that Creator is joy will follow that it is creative, since the Father is the Creator. Let me reread that again. To rejoice, to make happy, to look on the bright side of things is to manifest this joy or joy. Seeing that Jehovah or Creator is joy, it will follow that this joy is creative, since the Father is the Creator. Okay, that makes sense. So to look on the bright side of things, or the attempt to, always brings a joy. That joy is Creator. What is it? Oh, that's it. Oh, that's the bite. No, yeah. No. 1 second. My bad. All right, y'all. That was dope. I think I should reread that. Right? I think I should reread that. I think I just dropped. I think we almost overlooked the gem. Right? This is a gem. Right? Dig this. To rejoice, to make happy, to look on the bright side of things is to manifest joy. Seeing that the Creator is joy, it will follow that it is creative, that the joy is creative. And since the Father is the Creator, it is this rejoice, and that's a jewel. If you see that that's a jewel, hit me with a 1 in the chat. Try to rejoice. Try to look on the bright sides of the things. Try to manifest this joy. Why? Because joy is Creator. And since the Father is the Creator, that joy is going to be creative. Jewel. Put that in your cap, y'all. That's a jewel. It is this rejoicing, the very delight in being, in living in conscious unity with the source of life, that can at last negative fear, gloom, misgiving, and doubt, the great negators. Yeah, the great blockers. To feel rejoicing is to start the soul vibrating with spheres of light that produce harmony, symmetry, and music. Men have faced death fearlessly in rejoicing. The martyr has gone to the stake rejoicing. The evil workers for hell have often been confounded by the rejoicing of those in the light. We've heard of those stories. So, hold on one second. All right, my bad, y'all. Let's get back to it. First of all, I haven't heard nothing evil yet. Talking about rejoicing just for being. Right? I ain't heard nothing evil yet. So we lift up our hands and cry, "Oh, my Father, thou hast given me a world of delight, and in it I would rejoice." The sun rises each morning and speaks of the renewal of hope. At high noon, I see how thou hast blessed me with strength and the will to do. And when the shadows of evening fall, I watch the sun sink in the western sky, and sweet peace comes over my soul for what the day has brought. In the springtime, the sower went forth, trusting in thy promise, and cast his grain where he had prepared the soil. Then thou didst send rain and warmth, and slowly the green blades appeared. And in the sunlit skies of summer's days, the blades developed and formed its depth, and from its depths came forth the ear. Talk about the corn. Around, I see the world coming into Cosmon. That's 1848. The springtime of thy great promise is eternally renewed. Now, mind y'all, this 10 years before the 100-year point. This 10 years before the 100-year joint, right? It's 1938. 100 years will be 1948, right? We know Cosmos fully. I mean, if we go into it, 1848, it's on. It is what it is, right? But the generation of men, fully Cosmonian, start being birthed after 1948. So I see, he said, around I see the world coming into Cosmon. The springtime of thy great promise is eternally renewed, and the workers in light are renewed in hope. Now, as we witness the harvest home, the soul sings its cry of rejoicing. I just had a thought. Anybody want to jump on 1 second? What if, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm not going to do, let me share this. If y'all want to come in and holler at your cousin, what if, right, At the 100-year mark, which would have been 1948, a lot of people look over to Israel as the sign of the 100-year mark in Cosmon. But what if there was a harvest then in the 100-year time, right? In the 100th year, right? What if there was a harvest, right? And people were able to see something in the sky, and that is why we hear about the other great thing other than the Jews getting Israel back in 1948. The other great thing that happened in 1948 was the Roswell crash, right? Purportedly a crash, right? What if that's what something like that is what's going to happen 100 years later in 2048 at the 200th year harvest? What if Jah cracked the sky and allow us to see the harvest of the brides and bridegrooms that's been here for the last 100, 200 years? What if we witnessed that in 1948? What if that's what all the hubbub was about? What if that's why everybody got the message? Because I mean, if it was in some place, you know what I mean? You know how hard it is to get information out of New Mexico today? This is in the information area. They could, I mean, that's the desert. They could totally block out some stuff we never hear about it way over here on the East Coast or in the North. So imagine in them times where they hardly had radios or TVs, and you dig what I'm talking about? People were still writing letters, and you dig what I'm saying? Sending telegraphs. How easily it would have been for the government to keep this quiet. So why couldn't they? What if this was a thing that happened everywhere? And everybody got this vision. And this is why it was reported. And this is why they couldn't all keep it out of the news, because it was being reported from all different types of places. Just a thought. You know what I mean? Funny that, some extraterrestrial stuff. So, really the very first, reported extraterrestrial experience happens 100 years after Cosmon start, and exactly 100 years before the next time that a harvest time comes on. And then there is a part in the book of Ascension where it says for a while he turned his dance every 50 years. And this is why you get every 50 years they call it a jubilee. A jubilee in Christianity, right? This is why they call them jubilees every 50 years, but they don't really know that they harvest times. The false gods then twisted that all around and made it something else about, fake telling times. But that's not how you tell time, right? There are times of, harvest. What if in Cosmon it's every 100 or 200? But what if we did see something? I just don't think it's a coincidence that the same thing happened in 1920 happened in 2020. So if the same thing happened if something happened in 1948, should be the same thing happening in 2048. Just about makes sense without having to stretch or reach. And you dig what I'm talking about? I'm just ask you to do that, make a little sense. Then thou didst send rain and warmth, and slowly the green blades appeared, and the sun lit the summer skies, days, and blades developed from its depths came forth the ear. Around I see the world coming into Cosmon. The springtime of thy great promise is eternally renewed, and the workers in light are renewed in hope. Now, as we witness the harvest home, the soul sings its crying of rejoicing. Yea, We rejoice, for we have not seen the rainbow arch over the land of On. High in the sky, like the descending host of ethereal angels, radiant in the glow of mystery. Hmm. Transfixed I have stood, and the soul has bathed in the tranquil light of the descending and transcending joy, even the rejoicing of angel hosts. Therefore, Father, I rejoice in thee, because thou hast blessed me, I rejoice. Yea, I am happy because thou art my Father, unto whom no man can forever attain. I rejoice because thou hast guided me through the snares and pitfalls of life, and that now is the harvest home. Bringing, what? Hold on, what did I say? Bringing the fruits of my labor to thy shrine, I swear again to cleave forever unto the holy way. Without thee, O Father, life is dark. Man, ain't it? Hey, if you know that that's true, that without the Father, life is dark. Huh? Or how many of y'all came from a life of religious ideology? Huh? And now you're in the understanding of the true creator, and look at the level of light. Huh? Look how bleak your existence was back then when you thought that your nut sacks was gonna roast forever in hell. Huh? How liberating is it? Huh? How truly dark it was before Creator peeled back that blindfold. You dig what I'm talking about? If you know that life without the Creator is dark, hit me with a 3 in the chat. Without thee, O Father, life is dark. Without thee, love is not. For thou art life. Thou art love, now and forever. Amen. Chapter 3. The Forvivitat of Zarathustra, right? A Forvivitat, that's kind of like a parable. You dig what I'm talking about? It's like a Persian way of saying like a parable. You dig what I'm talking about? But like a story. A Forvivitat of Zarathustra said, and I ought to pull this up too, but I'll pull it up in 1 second. Hold on. As a matter of fact, before we get there, let me just go over here real quick. 1 second, y'all. Okay. Okay. Let's get in this. 1 second. Okay. All right. Let's get into this real quick, because a lot of people, will look at Zarathustra and all these sayings and saying, "Oh, this is too far gone," and blah 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 blah, and get to confusing Zarathustra with Zoroaster. They're not even the same person. Zarathustra existed 6,500 years before Zoroaster did, during the time of Darius in Persia. So they're two different people. But the Avestas and the Vinodids come through the true Zarathustra that was rehashed through Zoroaster, right? And this story of what a paradar is, because we about to get into some stuff that you ain't never heard of, right? But unless you really into the Upanishads, the Vinodad, and all the Vedic texts, you dig what I'm saying? But we'll get into that in a second. Now watch this. I have to just pull up some stuff. Now, when a pure man, this is what Zarathustra is saying. When a pure man dieth, his soul for 3 days remaineth near the head of his corporeal body, reciting prayers and anthems. But on the 4th day, he waketh to his condition and rises and goeth forth. The first living creature he sees is paradars, a flying person of great beauty, right? Now, let's go look at what this paradars got to say, and what they got to say about paradars, what they are. Hold on, let me find this real quick. Boom. Right. Hold on 1 second. Let me show y'all this. Hold on, let me show y'all. Let me show you this. We was talking about paradars, right? So let me show you what the paradars are. In the Vinodad, right, which is a collection of texts within the Zoroastrian scripture. So you see right here, They didn't already twisted up. This is the Greek name for an even older character, right? The Greeks are twisting up the magician of Darius's time, who they call Zoroaster, right? Zoroaster is rehashing the old Zarathustrian law. So right there, we got a great twisting of the story, but the rest of the story that's told about Zarathustra comes to us through the Zoroastrian scripture, the Benedad. Right? So right there, we see that there was some, messing around, rewriting, something happened, right? Because the words of Zarathustra, who we just see, are now being applied to a man named Zoroaster. And mind you, they're from the same place. So there's no mistaking. It wouldn't have mattered if the Greeks are saying it. They would have said the name Zarathustra if that's who they got it from. They didn't get it from him. They got it from Zoroaster. Right? But remember, Zoroaster is 6,000. When we talk about Zarathustra, we talk about 7,000 BC. When we talking about Zoroaster, we talking about 500 BC. 7,000 to 500. Big difference. The Benedad is a collection of texts within the Zoroastrian scripture, the Avestas. The name comes from the Avestan language Vidavo Data, or meaning given against the divas or the demons. But we know what a true diva is. So if a diva is really good, why are they now applying them to demons? Right? The div is a title true God holds amongst the divas, which is a council of high-raised gods. Why are they now being called bad guys? Same reason Zoroaster is telling Zarathustra's story, right? As the name suggests, the Benedad focuses on combating evil spirits and their manifestations. It provides guidance on rituals, purities, laws, and practices to defend these harmful influences. In the 22nd chapter of the Benedad are known, the 22nd chapters of the Benedad are known as the Fragards and the Pedagogues. These sections cover diverse topics, including enumeration of areas created by Ahura Mazda and the troubles caused by Ahriman, the destructive spirit, the story of King Jamshed, and the expansion of the world, benefits of agriculture, pollution avoidance, contracts, and disposal of the dead, which is particularly detailed in the Benedad, continues to minute rules designed in the safeguard human health and well-being. Now, out of this story of the Benedads, just to let you know, your boy got it. I got the Avestas. I got the full Avestas. Right? We drop down right here and get into the Paradars, right? This is the very first time that is mentioned, but let me show you again. Zarathustra is saying this first, right? When a man died, the first living creature he seeth, right? But on the fourth day, he wake up to his condition, right? That he dead, and he rises and goes forth. The first living creature he seeth is Paradars, a flying person of great beauty. Now, let me see what the Avestas say. Does that back it up? And how they know this in 1938? Zarathustra right here, number 14. It says Zarathustra asked Ahura Mazda, who is Shreosha Vares of Shreosha, and the holy, strong Shreosha, who is obedience incarnate, a sovereign with an astounding weapon. The Hurumazda answered, it is the bird named Paradars. And why they call it a bird? Because in the story, you know, the cock or the crow, cock or the rooster is seen as a holy bird, you know, even with like the story of Helios, where he burns the ground and then he gets turned into a rooster. This is why the rooster crows every morning to let you know that the sun is coming. It's kind of that same idea, but this happens after death, right? So, but look what they're saying. Zarathustra is saying it's a man, right? It's a beautiful person, like an angel. Notice Zarathustra is talking again, but Zoroaster is the guy who gives you the book. So Zoroaster is quoting who? Zarathustra. Now we know how to put Zarathustra on the timeline. We can put him on the timeline real quick. We got a little time. Hold on. Let me see if I can put him on the timeline real quick for you. Here we go. Let me put him on the timeline for you real quick. Let's go over here and look at where Zarathustra is. See Zarathustra name right here? All the way to the right here. Zarathustra, right? His angelic being or true God at the time would have been Fragapati. During the Ark of Lu. What time is it? Let's go look and see. It's a 3,100 year period during the what? The 22nd arc cycle. Y'all see that? We're all right here. This is the time of Zarathustra. It starts what? 7,053 BC to 3953 BC, a 3,100 year period, or from 8,900 years ago to 5,800 years ago, called the Ark of Lu. This is where we get Zarathustra and 7,053 BC. Zarathustra is already 33 years old. So Zarathustra would have actually been born, in the year 7,086. Because at this time, Zarathustra, where we getting him telling about the Paradars, 7,053 BC. We way back here, y'all. This is how we put everything we saying on a timeline. Now let's go see what he say. Right? Let's go back and see what he's saying in the Benedad. Ahura answered, right? It is Paradars, which ill-speaking people call Karkatas, or O Holy Zarathustra, the bird that lifts up his voice against the mighty Ushna. Right? Now let's go back and see what Zarathustra is saying. This is the book of, you dig what I'm talking about, of ascension. Let's go see how he explained it. The first living creature he seeth is Paradars, a flying person of great beauty. Remember, Ahura Mazda told him that. Now he telling us. Let that sink in. He saluted her, acquiring who she is. She answereth him, saying, I am thine own soul and good thoughts. That's what a Paradars is. I always thought that it was odd that a Paradars was very close to a paradox. I am thine own soul in good thoughts. I am the law that thou hast built it on the corporeal earth. The things that you stand on, your moral foundation. I am the law that thou hast builded upon the corporeal earth. Behold me, I am thyself. And now thou seest thine own self. I am most beautiful because thine earth thoughts were pure. I am most beautiful because your earth thoughts were pure. Put away thyself and come thou and inhabit myself. I am the part that can transcend to nirvana, the second heaven. Thou art part that dwelleth as a druge, a bound spirit. On the fifth day, the pure man putteth away self and inhabited the paradise, and so ascendeth and becometh a lord in heaven. If an evil man die, his soul remaineth at his feet 3 days. On the fourth day he goes abroad, but because of its clouds, it beholdeth not paradise, the smothered bird, but it goeth into places that offend the nose, to the places that offend the ears, to the places that blind the eyes, and like a druge, cannot speak truth, cannot find love, cannot, what does it say? Where am I at? Okay. But goeth in the places that offend the nose, to places that offend the ears, to places that blind the eyes, and like a druge cannot speak truth, cannot find love, and cannot learn. Brethren, is it not possible that in walking the devious ways of earth, contacting its influences, prone to its desires, we shall attract unto our path many who have not risen above the bondage? That's true. They say, what Janet say, like a moth to a flame burnt by the fire. Huh? Is it not possible that in walking the devious ways of earth, contacting its influences, and prone to its desires, we shall attract unto our path many who have not risen above the bondage? Yet, nevertheless, we shall have power in our hands to inspire them to rise above the bondage, or otherwise allow themselves to become the prey to their depressing influences. The way of the spirit is emancipation. Let us call to the mind of the words of Sakaya. This is dope. They call him back to the O. For it is given unto you by the Father that ye can begin your own resurrection while ye are here in the corporeal body. This is what my gang bringing brothers need to hear too. This that message they need to hear. Because a lot of them believe because of the life that they lived so far that it's over for them. Like they can't change, and that they might as well just go out in darkness. But nah, bro, it's structure to this. Just like it's structure to the game, there's a reason you're why you are the way you are. Shout out to the West Coast. Yay. We about to come on up out there, turn up. You did what I'm talking about, turn up on the West Coast. What? These boys want this light. They ready for it. A lot of people be willy-nilly with it. You did what I'm talking about, but the thing is, we don't force it on nobody. But when some shit makes sense, niggas will do it just because it's beneficial. When it makes sense, it's always beneficial. Right? So when they see that it's beneficial, they're going to apply it themselves. And it don't even cause you to get out of gang structure. As a matter of fact, the structure is what's going to make y'all work. Why you think we call ourselves creator gang? We a brotherhood. We just focused in the right way. How many times I always tell you ain't no difference between cops and crips except what they do. Because in the end of the day, right now, they both killing niggas. It's just about their ideology. Right? If they let the 5 points of hip hop, not music, but the 5 points of hip hop, right? Truth, justice, freedom, equality, all that stuff. If they let that run the gang culture, you got the police. Is y'all peeping what I'm saying? Are y'all peeping what I'm saying? Huh? If you give the warrior a cause, he is then your army, your police. But he gotta walk in the way of the righteous. Or you not gang as in, you know what I mean, gods and Nirvanian goddesses. You gang as in negative, destructive. The only difference in the word is the action of the people behind it. So yeah, with gang, you can be a god and a Nirvanian goddess, by the way, who are higher than gods. They're actually 2 steps higher, because there are gods and then there are Orion gods, and then there are gods over the Orions who are called Nirvanians. So yeah, gang is an acronym. So we about to smash the West Coast. Yeah, we about to smash the West Coast. Right? Everybody try to kick y'all out like y'all don't believe in the creator. Y'all believe in the creator more than anybody. The gang stand back at the church every Sunday. All you gotta do is look back there. You don't be there neither, so you can't see. Consider then what ye can do that will raise you up in spirit, for this is resurrection. For it is given unto you by the Father that ye can begin your own resurrection while ye are here in the corporeal body. Consider then what ye can do that will raise you in spirit. Consider then what you can do that will raise you in spirit. Why? Because this is resurrection. I got some. I know you didn't took a lot. I know. But there's a way to raise you in spirit. And when you apply that to somebody else, not only yourself, the thought, but apply it to do something good to somebody else, that's resurrection. That's saving yourself. You become the savior. The whole point of religion is for you to not understand that you God, for you to not understand that you are Jesus, for you to not have a direct connection, but have somebody in the middle between you and the higher power. No. The whole point of life is to become, you are a God in training. It is to approach the Godhead, to prepare you for the life that starts once your physical body dies. Oh yeah, everybody gonna check up out this thing, huh? It's just about where you gonna go after you do. Right? Ain't it fair that if you live your whole life as a 10, that when you die, you go to a heaven situated for the 10s? If you live your whole life as a 25, we'll get in the spirit rate another day. But if you live your whole life as a 25, when you die, ain't it fair? Ain't it just that you go to a heaven situated for the 25s? You shouldn't go to the heaven for the 80s. You ain't even prepared to live there. You got to move at 80 speed. You ain't at 80 speed. You only at 25 speed. So ain't that right that you supposed to be where the 25's at? Same thing. As above, so below. Same thing in school. If you at 3rd grade reading level, you're not going to be in the 6th. Why? Because you can't read to the 4th. or the 5th, or the 6th. You're still at a 3rd grade reading level. Right? So for students who are in 3rd grade, who are testing at 3rd grade understanding, ain't it fair that they're in 3rd grade? Huh? Ain't that fair? And then guess what? After they master 3rd grade, ain't it fair that they get to go to 4th? Because now they didn't already learned all the 3rd grade stuff. What about all the 4th grade stuff? I'm telling you, it's the same thing happens after you die. Why do you think you always praise the Great Spirit and not God in America? Huh? It's a reason. Right? Think about what you can do to raise yourself in spirit. Live to your highest life. Why? Because this is resurrection. First, to purify yourself, your diet. Secondly, to take baths. Take baths and try to eat right. Second, to do all the good that you can. Third, to affiliate. And this is why the West Coast about to win. Eat good. Stay 100 and affiliate. Without these, there can be no resurrection. But to do that for somebody else, which is the second, is resurrection. That stops the ills of society. Purify yourself. Do good, all the good that you can. You doing good, what you doing? Thinking good. Guess what else you doing? Moving good. So try to eat some fruits and veggies. Hold the door for an old lady every now and then. And stay 100 with the homies, affiliated. But in a righteous path to do something good for somebody. This is why the West Coast about to win. This is why we going out there to build up all this work. So when we go out there, they can start catching on. If y'all ain't seeing it, the light moving east to west and going south to north and then coming back down north to south. It just is what it is. Just watch how it moves. If you just pay attention to what's been going on. The light went south to north. Now it's going east to west. And the West Coast about to get it cracking. Right? It did say, look for those who stand by the Creator. Right? Those you can't trick with the story of somebody born of a woman. That I'm gonna praise that. Nah. Huh? The ones that keep it 100, the remnants of the Algonquins from America. Look out for them. They book is a power. The affiliation part, which a lot of dudes in the Midwest and on the East Coast ain't got all the way down yet. It's spots that they gonna click on, and they already do, right? But when we take this thing to the West Coast, it's about to jump. Look, they already in line for it. Consider then what ye can do to raise you in spirit. Why living to your highest light is important, because that's resurrection, and it starts with you just thinking good. But the first step is your diet. Purify yourself. This don't mean be skinny. This mean eat better. Think better, do better. Secondly, to do all you can for somebody else. Do all that good that you've been thinking about. That thing that you've been thinking about, right? That will raise your self-spirit, do it for somebody else. And then if you can, especially, first of all, you got to do this to reach the second resurrection. There ain't no thing. You got to affiliate. This is why the West Coast gonna win. And they don't even understand where they whole gang culture, structure, none of that stuff. But y'all don't even know that why y'all throw the signs y'all sign, where they come from. Huh? Y'all have no idea. They're thousands of years old. And they've been the same all around the world. You would have been able to go and throw seas up. Huh? Throw Pyru or throw blood with Zora, with Sakiah, with Moses and them, with Buddha and them. They knew the hand signs. This stuff is thousands of years old. Right? The structure. You threw the sign to let you know who's who. Because by you letting me know that you know where I'm at, it's the same thing as a gang sign. A sign lets you know a thing, right? It alerts you to what it is. The same thing is going on in the spiritual schools that were teaching the great prophets. These come out to be today misused in a different way that they were then, totally misused, right? But this is where the idea of your so-called Crip and Blood or your so-called GD and Vice Lord even come from. Why? No, should be no mistake that these people who go on to be holy people, and I'm telling you, they from various places in the world were heavenly melanated, and now that the people who are brought this culturally back around, right around 1968, 1969, as we know it today. There were things before that, but as we know it today, right around 69, which falls right into the Odic rate in the exact time of the Cosmon era and how you bring it out. Because at the end of a B cycle or 121 years, a new thing comes, a new light. So I would just ask, did hip hop or 121 years after 1848 is 1969. Gang banging and hip hop came out at the same time. This is how you get it on both coasts, in the middle, up top, everywhere, all at once. This is how everybody was on a vibe at one time, because for 121 years we were in a B cycle where there was nothing but war. You close one war with the American and Mexican War and go instantly into the French Revolution or the German Revolution, 1848, same year. Everywhere start revolting in 1848. Look that up, y'all. Friedrich and them start shipping a lot of black Germans and them here. This is where a lot of these people come from. But it is what it is. But this is why the West Coast gonna win. Because they already got the third part down. Right? Once they figure out their diet be fucking them up, it'll be easier to just do good shit. Because that's what they're trying to do anyway. You dig what I'm talking about? They're trying to get up out of the conditions that they're in and help their people up out of it. But they ain't got the right focus. But they are affiliated, and they is 100. And then the most important part, them niggas believe in the Creator and God. Got you. I can make it make sense to you. We can make all the ceasefire and all that shit work. It's just about with the gang banging, but just with a different focus. You're gonna do a different type of hit, a different type of work. Yeah. You're gonna put in half the effort and get twice as much good up out of it, twice as much money, twice as much spiritual rate up out of it by doing something good than it do to do that evil shit. And it's easier, right? Because it takes twice as much energy to do something negative than it does positive. It just is what it is. That's just, objective. Right? So this is why it's about to be a big hit out there, y'all. Because why? Without these, there can be no resurrection. Therefore, O brethren, in taking the path of ascension, we shall not only purify our own hearts, but also raise others who may be lingering near the threshold and in our surroundings. Since, therefore, these two things are accomplished, let us hasten in time to accomplish the will of the light within our lives. It almost sounds like Owaspy. It got it's quoting Owaspy and everything, man. You can tell it come from different writers. The style is different. You dig what I'm talking about? But what it's saying is on point. Above all else, do we not desire peace? Yet often we are distressed by things over which we have no control. Come on, man. Right? Come on, man. What would you be doing if you didn't have to pay a light bill, a gas bill? If you ain't had to work 10 hours a day, what would you be doing? Some of that stuff we ain't got no control over. All right. Let us hasten to secure the highest peace and call to mind the words given to us in the book of the Ark of Bond. Right. The highest peace is the peace of the soul, which cometh of the consciousness of having done the wisest and best in all things according to one's own life. Huh? The highest peace, huh? The greatest pay is the knowing, the peace of soul, just the knowing that comes from knowing that I did something good and I did all that I could. That's the best peace in the world. Anybody who ever been through something will tell you that's absolutely the truth. When you know you did something good for somebody and it helped them and you see it, it's its own reward. For after all, is not the earth life but the beginning, wherein we are as in a womb, molding our own souls into the condition which we will come upon us after death. That's what Owaspy say is here for you to learn how to hear the Creator's voice. 2, for you to see the heavens in full consciousness. And 3, so you can learn where you gonna go before you die. That's what Owaspy here for. Niggas talking about religion, spooky shit, all that, nothing. It's saying, nigga, if you eat right, your 6th sense will turn on. Can we get that plain? No spookiness. Do something right. Think about the best thing that you could possibly do right now and then do that for somebody else. Eat some fruits and vegetables. And then rock with the homies. 100 rock with the homies. That's the whole law. That's it. Nothing else to it. This is why faithism is going to win. This is why Jaja is going to win. It ain't no trick to it. You just got to do it. You just got to be 100. Huh? The highest peace is the peace of the soul, which cometh of the consciousness of having done the wisest and the best in all things according to one's own light. For after all, is not the earth life but the beginning, wherein we are as in a womb, molding our souls into the conditions which will come upon us after death, in which case we should be in alacrity. We should with alacrity or with speed seize upon the passing time and appropriate it to doing righteous works to one another. Now, when you hear something evil, stop me, say, Cosmon, you're talking that devilment. Huh? No, Cosmon, we won't. Jesus. Stop it. Stop me and tell me at what minute marker I told you to kill off a baby, a husband, his wife, the little kids, the little boys, and the suckling babies. The goats, camels, asses, dogs, kill the frogs, kill everything. When you hear some of that, pause me. Right? But until then, notice we ain't told you to do nothing evil. Huh? And this is a apocryphal text. People don't even know Owaspi got apocryphal because they ain't read the book. Boy, they been listen, JBN got these boys terrified. Boy, hey, listen, if JBN turned out to be a nigga, not that it mattered, but if JBN turned out to be a nigga, woo! Oh my God. What y'all gonna say then? Huh? He ain't on the line of Jebus and Moshe and Abram and Zarathustra then? Huh? He ain't a bombing Brahma and Sakiah. He ain't none of that. Uh-oh. What if he was a real light-skinned nigga? You think gonna talk about what if he was passing? We ain't got a real picture of him to know. Right? You trying to tell me with a dude who had he was more famous than he was a rock star. Right? At the time, Kardak and all them was popping. He was already popping. He was already hitting it rich in the gold fields. Huh? JBN was a superstar. A multi-millionaire in the time. You don't think he had a camera? Think about it. In 1880, he was just told out of nowhere to go buy a typewriter. Typewriters were brand. I mean, they had just came out like that year, 1880. They like just came out. Ain't no way this man knew how to type. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a QWERTY board yet. You know how when you look at the board, it go on the top row, it go QWERTY. That's a QWERTY. It wasn't even a line like that. He had the A, B, C, D, E, F, and G in a row. How did you even do that? He admitted that he didn't even know how. The angel said we did it. Don't worry about it. All right. But if this nigga, listen, man, JBN, listen, he was loaded. If he was able to just pick up and buy a whatchamacallit, typewriter, which at the time, if I'm not mistaken, was it $175? I think it was $175 or $275. It was something like that to get. It would have basically been like buying a high price computer today, right? Because basically the money is 26 to times. So what's 117 and a half or 175 times 26? 20 times is 35. So basically the cost of about $4 or $5 grand, right? He was able to pick up and instantly buy one, even though he didn't know how to use it. So it wasn't like this dude was broke. So you trying to tell me this man didn't buy one of the most revolutionary machines in the world, and he had 6 patents of his own? You trying to tell me this nigga didn't have a camera? Nobody has a camera. Okay, well then, all right, okay. Explain to me why the Bureau of Investigations, before the FBI was even formed, why were they trying to follow JBN and buy the rights to the books? And even after his death, why were they oppressing the people at Shalom? And even into the 1920s, where Joan Newborough, his daughter, the government used to pick her up out the blue and just snatch her off the streets to try to get the real copy of Owaspy. She had to make up a lie. She had to make up a lie that all this stuff had got destroyed in a flood in Texas. Well, if that's the case, well, how your daddy come with the old shit and the new shit, and you wasn't but a little baby? You dig what I'm talking about? So you ain't write nothing. You dig what I'm saying? And then the new stuff come out after that to finish the 1891 version. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Right? That all that stuff got destroyed and lost. She told a lie so she could keep living. She wrote her book in 1919, 1920. First thing she could do, she found some real faithists. And what did she do? What did she do with all that paperwork? Anybody know what Joan Newborough, the daughter of JBN, did with the original paperwork as soon as she could? Anybody know? She sold it. She hurried up and got rid of it. Why? Because they had been hounding this little girl since her daddy died and her mama married Howland. Huh? Why is the FBI trying to get the book? Is this why? Is this why? Did they purposely remove or why? Is this why the great black minds, the great aboriginal nigga minds of America have never seen it? Ain't no way you telling me dudes like Van Sertima, Dr. Delbert Blair, we know he seen it because he was speaking about Sethamtes. But the Dr. Benz of the world, you did what I'm talking about. What's my baby? Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. How is it possible that they missed this? Because it was hidden. It was hidden. They was taking this shit off the shelf. Do you know JBN's in the library, in the Congressional Library, there is a 3-foot tall book of Owaspy. They been knew about this book. When Owaspy hit out within 3 months, the world was like, what? Now, mind you, the previous 33 years, they've been deep in spiritualism. I just did a show where we brought out how it switched over from spiritualism, right? And they lose it. They still with even to this day, they still with the false gods, right? With the church of spirituality and all, church of spiritualism. Yeah, they still with the Jibo stuff. How they lose it? Because it wasn't never for them. It was always for the faithists. And this is why it came 33 years, exactly a generation after the Cosmon era started. All this stuff happened on point, right? They haven't figured out that there's a rhyme to this reason. We see it though. Yea, this day we will seek the strength that shall give unto us the victory. We will seek this by the holy power of spiritual expression. We will now, even in this hour, unite with the angels of the presence and seek the light in prayer. Our request, whatever it may be, shall come direct from the heart. Our faith shall be in the measure of that we receive. So you're going to receive in the measure of your faith. So if you totally know something coming, guess what's about to happen? If you truly believe that, if you got faith that is coming, not belief, it's the step beyond it. It's the actual knowledge to know that 2 + 2 is going to always be 4. I don't believe that. I know that. That's faith. I know it's going to be 4. That's the difference in belief and faith, subjective, objective, knowledge, and belief. You dig what I'm saying? That little right there. Our faith shall be the measure of what we shall receive. So if you got it 100%, that's because you had faith that it was coming 100%. Then going forth by the light of faith, despair, fear, doubt, and depression all flee away. And those who linger on the threshold of life shall, by the living impulse of our aspiration, be impelled to climb the heights of spiritual emancipation. This is why we be telling them, we be moving. Y'all got to come up here. It's hard to fly up here with the eagles. Deadly trying to swim with the sharks, right? But we what chew up sharks. We chew megalodons. What eat megalodons? That's what the creator gang is. Keep our foot on the neck of the gods. This is why it's important to bring out all this stuff. Man, it's so much stuff that they don't know that we don't know. And so this is why I like to always bring it out all at the same time that I'm learning it, right? So y'all learn it with me, right? Let us not suppose that the spirits of the dead at all times find eternal peace. The bonds that bind to the earth are often severed long after the soul have taken its departure from the form of clay. The earth draws back again those who are wedded to its lure. The earth and its land of shadows bind by the magnetic chain those who know no higher world. How then shall one in darkness open the gates of light? Some power, something, some impulsive given to the soul, some subtle or mighty urging could carry it above its bonds. But when the soul is a stranger to these things, or when it slumbers unawakened to the higher worlds, no mere urging, no mere calling may have the power to arouse. What then is the power which can arouse? We ask, and Cosmon, and Cosmon answereth in no uncertain way. That which can the sleeper arouse, that which wakes the slumbering heart, is the ray of light that lightens up the way. Now, also, how does that play out in real time? Because see, you can't be just saying this stuff and then it don't have no real time play out. You ever looked at somebody while they was sleeping and really stared at them, right? What happened after a while? They wake up. They be looking at you like, what the hell? You ever flashed the light in somebody's eyes while they was sleeping for a long time? What happened? They wake up. Is the ray of light that which can arouse, that which can the sleeper arouse, or arouse the sleeper, that which can wake the sleeper up, that which wakes the slumbering heart, is the ray of light that lightens up the way. Physically, that also happens too. You ever had your girl? You ever been mad at your girl? Woke up, she was looking at you, like I could kill you. You know? I should just punch you in your face. You ain't never woke up like that, boy. Y'all wasn't bad. I was bad. I ain't gonna lie. I was terrible. I probably should have got punched more in my sleep, but Jaja was looking out for you, boy. But somebody just staring at you, that'll wake it up. Or somebody flash a light in your eye. You dig what I'm talking about? That ray from that TV hit the eye wrong, too right, too wrong, blicker wrong, too big. You'll wake up out your sleep. Huh? That's above, so below. It should be true. If it's saying it, it's got to be true, objective. Or it's just subjective. We don't even take it as binding, period. But we know this happened, right? I'm not caping for the book. This ain't no WASP. This is just, some apocrypha that's hitting along with it, and it's right on point. I'm just saying, this is my first time reading. Let me see. What it's saying? The ray is a manifesting of the word. And since we are all expressions of the word, we are linked in some arcane way with others who are of that ray which quickened us into earthly being. That is the ray that quickened us into life, into the form that we would hold, that we now hold. It is the power of the stars, the sun, the moon, the mighty threads of being interwoven into the web of destiny that is ours. The lineal ray descending to the cosmon day from time when since the human race began. The lords of light can unfold for us the mystery of the line of light. They found for us the dwelling place. They watched us coming forth into the earthly day, then linked unto an earthly heritage, impelled by the heritage of S, we sought the earth, impelled by the twofold ray, one to inspire us on the path of earthly life, one to guide us to the higher way. The ray is a manifesting of the word. And since, the lords of, hold on, I thought I moved it down. Where in the past some falter on our ray, who by some close link is bondsman to our soul failed, then we the reflex of that failure bear, and bearing nobly shall redeem the soul that gave it heritage. Okay, well, let me read that back. What they're saying, it's the language in 1938 was still a little different. Where in the past some falter on our ray, whom by some close link is bondsman to our soul failed. Right now, what they're saying is because in their lifetime they did something, You dig what I'm talking about? To where somebody they know, you know, you decrease them in spirit rate somehow, right? Or basically you along your path, you done did something to somebody in your life, and because of that, you know, y'all kind of linked. And you did what I'm saying. He's like, then the reflex, what happens because of what you did, you know, they try to take that on and you know, shoulder that weight. You know what I mean? They instead of trying to shrink from it, they stay on 100. And they do that nobly, take it on the chin, right? So to say, right? And they shall redeem the soul that gave it heritage. Or so what they saying is they, you know, because they did it bold, they're gonna now try to, you know, even if they got to take it on the chin real quick, shoot the fade or whatever. You did what I'm talking about. Get it right after that, because you gave this person the path to leading them down. You dig what I'm talking about? So basically, you spilled the Kool-Aid. You the one got to mess it up. It'll clean it up. So we, old watchers of the Cosmon Dawn, can influence some, and others influence scarce at all. For only Aisu, only Iesu, only Chiba. Oh, no, I ain't gonna hit you. No, but for only the prophet can quicken all. That's what an Aisu is. These are men like your Buddhas of the world, your Brahmins of the world, your Chinese of the world. He was born an Aisu, the real Yeshua, right? The man, not the man who died on the cross, Yeshua, right? Who was born in 146, died 36 years later in 110 during the Hasmonean dynasty, right? Not in the ADs. He was an Aisu. This is why he has no bloodline. This is why when they're talking about he had a wife and he was doing all this hunching and you know, all that's cap. Because he Aisu, he above all that. He's not even, bro, he's done with that. He ain't even, he like Zarathustra. He don't even want none. It's just not in him. You dig what I'm talking about? It is, I know it sounds weird, but that's what a Aisu is. It's a person above all physical wants. That's what you would have to be like one of these Moses ass niggas to split it. You gonna have to be damn near that. Even Moses wasn't that. Abram wasn't that. Brahma ended up becoming that, but he ain't start off that. Neither did Poe, neither did Iwata, neither did Sakaya, neither did Chinese, neither did Muhammad, neither did Thothma. You know what I mean? Will you then, watchers at the dawn, call on someone soul to seek the light, and finding in your heart a quickening power like the lightning's flash or the comet's sweep, now send it forth to those who in darkness dwell, so by the holy power. Where am I going? So by the holy power shall be past redeemed, even by the light that burns within. As we rise, so shall others rise by the very impulse of our will, by the inmost seeking of the heart. If also we are daily striving, overcome, and in our overcoming, okay, that's what it, in our overcoming, burn away the dross. This pure, refined gold of life is the treasure we can offer to him who gave us life. Then to the will once more we turn, and on the cross our plea we make that from our path some obstacle shall be removed, or better far, we in faith and will that obstacle ourselves shall have the power to overcome, that ourselves shall have the power to overcome. Thus, in our daily striving on the path, the soul is strengthening, shall receive, and in receiving, we shall impart unto those who sojourn and in linger on the way, and still, I guess, like still linger on the way. Yea, let us ask the Father in his name, that the crowning light of his most holy love shall remove all barriers from the way that prevent us from coming to the light. So shall we grow strong in faith, so shall we affirm by his most holy name, so shall we treasure up the gold that shall change the darkness into the light of day. Thus, ascensional mass, we seek the light once more, and by the power of the holy word, become renewed in faith and love. Hence, we aspire our hearts resound in unison with the mighty song of joy, that song which set the suns aglow with living fire, the song that brings the smiling earth to give plenty, beauty, and bounteous store, the song the angels host forever sing, the song that dwelleth to the skies, the song of blessedness for all, the song of those redeemed by love, Ahiba Ave, Amareth Hail. Fifth chapter. New year. Every new beginning has a new renewal of hope, and a constant renewal carries us on this day. Now, hold on 1 second, y'all. I want to, hold on. I got to do something real quick. Hold on. I'm going to just share this real quick. Let me share this with y'all real quick. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Create a gang. FOPE this. For our people's ignorance. Salute Malachi Maccabee, Cosmon Cal, Bronze Yogi, Yare Ya. Create a gang. Peace to the goddesses. We gonna set the record straight. I know these clowns ain't folk, man, they a fucking joke. Naphtali tried to explain the Ark of Noah's boat. Malachi Maccabee exposed the whole shit as a hoax. She had the nerve to say the earth is 6,000 years old. And tried to use Gobekli Tepe for the Ark of Noah. But what you ought to know, your sources got burned like an arsenal. So pack it up and throw them scripts in the trash. Your God gets stoned to death for prophecies not coming to pass. Like America's supposed to get hit with the nuclear blast. 24 years later, we look back at you niggas and laugh. I should pick rocks and stone you niggas myself. Throw you in a lake of fire, watch your skin start to melt. Shawshan be the first to get blamed. When I heard the shots, look, left his people and ran. Damn. K. Judah, you feel to be a shooter. You not a teacher, you a tutor, hiding behind computers. Naphtali, you not ready for Mali. He exposed to go for wood from the Ark, come out of Cali. Long Beach, Naphtali better run a retreat. Your champion looking bad on these YouTube streets. When I waving the white flag as a sign of defeat. Bow down like Jehu and kiss the boot on my feet, nigga. Your Messiah can't save shit. Where was the Messiah when we was chained to them slave ships? Praying to a God in return ain't say shit. The God of war got you niggas stuck in a slave pit. Talking about that's prophecy, more like propaganda from a false god democracy. FOP for our people's edification. You not edifying, but lying to the Israelite nation. Think you following God when you following Satan. Stiff-necked and stubborn like them goddamn Jamaicans. Come against Creator, gang, your doctrine's dying. When Mally cut Naphtali, she almost started crying. She ran to her husband and screamed, baby, I'm trying. That's what happens when you put a pussycat against a lion. Yeah. Creator gang is undefeated. FOP is washed up. Y'all put y'all goddess on the front line and she got her head blown off. Critter gang is undefeated. We out of here.
We fight as a single, impenetrable unit. That is the source of our strength.
All right, we're gonna get back to it. 1 second. All right. This is the 5th chapter, New Year. I think we're gonna go ahead and close it down after this one. We're finished in the morning. Or where we at? Let me just see. Yeah, we'll finish in the morning. We'll get this one in, or a couple more pages, and then knock it down in the morning, right? This is the 5th chapter called New Year. Every new beginning is a renewal of hope, and a constant renewal carries us on day by day until time is resolved into eternity. Each stage of the journey is marked by some incident which in itself is the climax of many little incidents, just as the seconds of time compose the minutes, and the minutes the hours. Just as every effect has had a cause, so the effects of things that are past are causes of things that shall yet be. Everything that is to be is conditioned by everything that has been. This truth opens our eyes to the greatest mystery of destiny, and it would truly seem that the deeds we do live. Wait a minute. This truth opens our eyes to the great mystery of destiny, and it would truly seem that the deeds we do live at, that indeed we do live after us, that the deeds we do. Oh, okay. All right. I get it now. The truth opens our eyes to the great mystery of destiny, and it would truly seem that the deeds we do live after us. That's correct. But right here, when it was talking about every effect has had a cause, and so the effects of things that are past are cause because of things that shall yet be. That kind of reminded me right there of all is, or all was, all is, all shall ever be. That's what that kind of put me in the mind of. Huh? Yeah, okay. Let's see what this thing hitting on. Let me see what it's hitting on. Bearing this fact in mind, we perceive that we are each individually responsible for the things that are to be. This also reminds us that the words of a waspi as touching the grades of resurrection. He that serveth himself 1/2 and serveth others 1/2 shall stand grade 50. He that serveth himself 3/4 and serveth others 1/4 shall stand at the grade 25. He that serveth himself 1/4 and others 3/4 shall stand at the grade 75. Like I was explaining earlier, right? If you at a 75 when you die, ain't it fair that you go to the heaven for the 75s, right? He that serveth himself only shall stand at grade 1. He that serveth others wholly shall stand at grade 99. That's an Aisu. This is why they tell you that only these prophets can affect everybody. Everybody ain't gonna like you. Everybody don't like Cosmon. Hit me with a 4 in the chat. You know they don't like you, brother. You dig what I'm talking about? I tell too much truth. Whether they want to hear it or not. And then they can't do nothing about it. Ain't like they gonna come with a higher light to prove that I'm lying or something. So the creator just stay undefeated, and they be mad about it that we just not gonna sit in the background and be all no, we punched on y'all, and it was what it was. You dig what I'm talking about? Come on over here and get right. Right? We want you to be a bad mama jamma too. But you ain't gonna get that trying to come against us. You just gonna get dusted off and made to look bad. We gonna make you look bad. Don't make me play that Hebrew video where they talking about they was gonna kill their kids. Man, if you don't stop. He that serveth himself holy shall stand in grade. He that serveth others holy shall stand at grade 99. And Aisu, and whoever serveth accordingly himself or others shall stand in grade, even as his work manifest. Right? This is why your words ain't nothing. It's your work. It's your deeds. Applying this teaching to those who have lived and toiled on earth and who have now left this plane of physical manifestation, we shall see that many who have died, even within our own recollection, must have died low in the grades. Peradventure, many are thus still tied to the bonds that bind to earth. But for them, there is hope. For them, resurrection and ascension in the grades is possible. It is possible because they can start even now to serve others, and even in joyful service can serve humanity still toiling on the earth plane. Did y'all know that? Hit me with a 5 in the chat. All right, remember y'all always talking about your ancestors, people coming back visiting. You had the little feeling that somebody was looking over you and all that. Now you know how and why. Even who. Many times these are all familial family members who haven't even been dead long period. You ever had your mom come back and feel like she was with you? You were right. That's why. It is possible because they can start even now to serve others, and even in joyful service can serve humanity still toiling on the earth plane with their babies and with their grandbabies. This happens. Perhaps today there are some with us who have lingered in the grades, who would fain now rise to height of wisdom, love, and power, but who cannot do so until they have learned to serve. The plan of resurrection is by service. It is in service to all light, and the service of others is service to one all light. How sweet is it that, how sweet is the thought that at the opening of a new year, it is a thought that shall stir us to fresh endeavor. It is a thought that will quicken a new hope within our soul. Does anybody know when the real new year starts? I'll give you 100 faith points. If anybody can tell me what time does Owaspi say is the new year? When does Owaspi say is the new year? Huh? You say March? That's your vote? All right. Shabert said March. Is she right? Y'all agree with her? Is that true? Is that the new year starts every March? What y'all think? Huh? Let's go up a little bit. Okay, here we go. How many of y'all think it's in the spring? I tell it to you like this. If y'all think it's in the spring, put spring in the chat. Huh? If you think it's in the summer, put the summer in the chat. If you think it's the fall, put the fall in the chat. If you think it's the winter, put the winter in the chat. When is it? Is it summer, spring, winter, or fall? What time? We got some Aprils. We got spring. Give me spring, summer, winter, fall. Spring, summer, winter, fall. I got some springs in here. I got summer in here. I got summer. What y'all think? When does the year start? Hey, we got some. I'm gonna go ahead and reveal it. It starts in the summer. It's this month. It's June 21st. It's the longest day of the year. The summer equinox. Huh? Or the summer solstice. Right? I know a lot of people think it's the New Year's Day is actually the longest day of the year. Makes sense, right? And it starts when the New Year starts on the sun's southern pass into the next year of the helical motion and the oscillation on its downward path into the winter, and then back up again into the summer. You dig what I'm talking about? That starts on the longest day of the year, which is the summer equinox, summer solstice, excuse me. Yep. But when y'all talking about when did the Cosmon era started, it started March 31st. So y'all be right on time when y'all talking about spring. You dig what I'm talking about? For a rejuvenation of things. But the year starts, right? This is why you got temples of the sun. This is why they align with the sun, right? So, yep, it's summer. It's coming up, right? So the year, we be counting the year from spring to spring, and I do that too, right? And it doesn't matter. You're not wrong, right? Because why? Because the Sabbaths are going to fall on the same days irregardless, going by the moon, right? You can count from spring to spring. It's not wrong. It's not, in fact, right, but it's not wrong to where you won't be able to see your Sabbath days, your holy days, pick up your days of praise and all that stuff. So all them, irregardless to where you are in the world and what calendar you are, will give the same date. You see what I'm saying? That's the dope part about the sky and the sun and the moon. You dig what I'm talking about? Using them as calendars and clocks, they never change. Huh? Yep. Who was that? Who was that? That gave the answer for summer. Just me first. Just me. Yep, it's this month in June, coming up in a couple weeks. Yep, summer. Who else was that? Elijah 7. Summer. Correct. 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 That's why there's 13 months in a year, because we count by the moon. We count by the moon to tell months, correct? Right? Even in the Bible, they told you I gave you two great lights, one to measure the day and one to measure the night, right? But when we count in moons, the moon is used to pull weeks and months, right? All right, let's keep reading. It will prompt us to turn from the past to live in the present, that a bright future may ever be unfolding before us. The faithist believes, and truly so, that every good thought, every good deed, yea, every kind word advances him in the grades. Do believe it. And it's good for y'all to know that too. Every good deed, every kind word, every good thought advances you in your spiritual grade. This is why we tell you, do good. This is the ever turning unto the Creator. If we turn unto him every day, we shall not be far from him in the end. So instead of repining on the way over things that might have been, we renew our covenant each day in the shower. When you're washing the old day off you, huh? Go get it. When you're done. This is so we renew our covenant each day, determining constantly to turn from evil and strive to do good, right? We do that 2 times a day. When you wake up in the morning, brushing your teeth, in the shower, washing the old day off of you, and once you turn it in at night, you dig what I'm talking about? This is where the idea of prayer before bed comes from, right? And in this silent affirmation of the heart, we create conditions for the power of for the angelic world to work the will of the Creator. All right, let me drop down a little bit. Then his messengers come guided by the star that ever leads to the cradle of fresh endeavor, even the star of true initiation. Bright star of hope, shine on until at last this hope has been realized and my soul enters the fullness of eternal bliss in the day of its final and glorious emancipation. Esphoma, I see thee, and the seeing, and in seeing cry aloud all hail. Esphoma is the sign of the times. The 6th chapter. Thor said, now this is, I know people like to giggle and stuff. This is not Thor of Greek fame. This is Thor of 13,000 to 10,000 BC. I'm talking about 13,000 years before there was anything called Europe. So this is why the false god Baal or Odin usurps the name, or firstly, Anu usurps the name Odin, and then Osiris usurps the name Odin, and under Osiris, he has a son named Thor, who is actually Baal. But after Osiris the false is thrown in hell, Baal assumes the title of Odin. Right? This is how it goes. That's definitely on of the gods of Spida in on the false gods list. Right? Thor said, now, okay, let's put Thor on the timeline, because a lot of people gonna think you capping, Cosmon. This is talking about Europe, right? All right, let's look right here. See Thor. We're not talking about a living man. We are talking about an Etherian angel. Look, we in the right way down here. Hold on. Man, why is it doing that? Well, right here it says Etherian at the top. If you look down here, you'll see Thor. Where is Thor? Right here, right? He is during the Ark of Mos, right? The 20th arc cycle is 60,000 years after the creation of man, or between 15,400 years ago to 12,200 years ago, or between 13,553 BC to 10,353 BC. We get Thor, right? So way back here in 13,000, we talking about the Thor of our common era comes in the Ark of Bond. Way down here in the 24th, we talking about the 20th. It don't come down here to, what's that, 15,000 years later, around 800 AD, where you get your story of Thor in Europe. That's 800 AD. I'm talking about Thor from 13,553 BC. See that? See the difference? See? Y'all talking about a Thor from way down here between 1553 BC and 1848 AD, which is a 3,400 year time called Bond. Lika is the god. Remember, they said Thor just said. So we talking about Thor. He way back here in the 20th. This 12,000 years or more in between the two. Right? As a matter of fact, from that's what 800 and 1,000, about 1,300 years. About 1,300 some years from the 20th to the 24th arc cycle. Right? So when we say Thor, we're not talking about the mystical magical nigga from Icelandic mythos. Right? To induce man and angels to find the way of resurrection, this is the greatest of all teaching. Man saith, O God, raise up thy servant. And the Lord saith, hold up thy hands, and I will lift thee up. But man will not. Man saith, send wise and holy angels to me, O Lord, to guide me in the righteousness and good works. And the Lord saith, as thou askest of God, even so do thou to thy fellows. But man will not. As is with man on earth, even so do we find it in the lower heavens, or hara. To teach him to do unto all his past, and to make full restitution unto others. This is the work of gods and lords over spirits of darkness. The greatest of all teaching the greatest of all teaching is to induce men and angels to find the way of resurrection. This is eternally true. That induces the making of full restitution unto others. Since to begin the second resurrection is to unite in the brotherhood. Shout out to the Creator gang. This is shout out to my daughter Kiki. Shout out to Shebrew. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to Sister Deborah. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to the big sis Shana. Big Imam. You dig what I'm talking about? They're already in second resurrection. The stuff that they would learn on the first in the lower heavens, they don't got to learn that. Right? They learning those things in the second resurrection. Why? Because they're already affiliated. This is why we about to wipe the West Coast out. Huh? Gonna be nothing but light coming out that mud. That's why we about to light it on fire. Yeah. Right? Since to begin the second resurrection is to unite in the brotherhood. So this is why gang is at a benefit. Right? Because you was already affiliated to do good here. So when you pass over, you already second resurrection. So the things that you would have learned on the first and the lower, you're gonna learn the first education in the second resurrection. It's benefits and bonuses to living good. It just is what it is. Right? Since to begin the second resurrection is to unite in a brotherhood, we can see that a manifold labor on the path of attainment includes making restitution by laboring for others on the path of ascension. And this by uniting in a brotherhood to that end. And this is why we always say, create a gang. You bring them. We'll raise them. Why? Because laboring for others on the path of ascension by uniting in the brotherhood, right? By making restitution, by laboring for others. That's the way to do it. And then you rise as a crew. So not only are you personally rising, but you rise the whole level up. So when we level up, guess what happened to Shebrew and them? It just makes it easier for them to get where they got to go. Since now the floor is higher. See what I'm saying? What kind of brotherhood shall this be? What type of brotherhood shall the creator gang be? Shall it be a brotherhood that cares only for the physical welfare of mankind? Or shall it be one that cares equally for the spiritual as well as the physical welfare? What do y'all say? If y'all say it's if you want to be one to just worry about the physical welfare, hit me with a 1 in the chat. If you worried about equally the spiritual as well as the physical, hit me with a 2 in the chat. Right? If you just worried about the physical welfare, hit me with a 1. But if you worried about the physical and the spiritual, hit me with a 2. This is why OSP gonna work, y'all. This is why it's working. This is why it's gaining how it is. You dig what I'm talking about? Everybody else is falling, if you notice. You dig what I'm talking about? They seem to have their little, their little time of, kickback or whatever. You dig what I'm saying? But it don't last long. You dig what I'm talking about? And it don't last around us at all. Again, by advancing in spiritual welfare, we are not equally advancing in physical welfare of man. Does not the higher govern, or at least include the lower? The spiritual includes the physical. We shall discover this through angel communion. We shall find the key to ascension by associating with the angels of ascension. The great fact of angelic communion has revealed to us again and again that we should reach up to the angelic states rather than we should expect them to descend to our plane. Not that they will not do this, but that the better way is to reach up to them. Interesting. Whilst we are in the world, we are not conscious of the bondage of the earth plane, accepting that we feel in some particular way the call of that which keeps us from aspiring to the higher worlds. But out of the body, we shall become acutely conscious of the earth bond. Because we are no longer in material embodiment, yet we find that we can not enter fully the life of spiritual experience. If, however, we earnestly strive after the exalted goal of attainment, we shall find that the earth bond naturally becomes less and less powerful, and that the spiritual life becomes more and more actual realization. To those who have in some measure attained to this realization, the power is given to assist others to reach up to the ready sources of their own aid. The particular angels of our individual specific life ray will reach down to and assimilate with us, so that those forces which belong to the inner planes of our starry destiny will naturally conform to the will of those who have in any measure transcended them. The great principle of growth is to receive and impart, and this applies equally in spiritual as in corporeal things. We shall give even as we have received of that very power which has aided us to the present point of our unfoldment. How shall we know to whom to extend the help of the prayer of faith? How shall we find the dwellers beyond the veil whom we fain would give, who we fain would guide to the higher way? He's saying, how we gonna help? Where we gonna point our prayers at? You dig what I'm talking about? And you know how you find these higher angelic beings on the other side and all that stuff. Right? Now it says, now the answer to this. Now, the answer to this is by affirming that it is the solar way. Even as the sun is to the light of day, so is the Creator to the understanding of all living. Creator through his light shall make manifest by his holy word the power of the voice. That when we pray for those who are in darkness, the soul shall impart an impulse to all those who are in association through this immaterial attraction. A line of light shall go out from the inmost center of our being unto those who are on our path or ray of descent. Where am I at? Yea, those who throng life's gateway, those who dog the footsteps of the pure as well as the impure, those who are in the bonds of ooze and confined in the dredges of lower Hada will feel this radiant message, and a pure desire will thrill their hearts. Their resurrection is made possible for them. Now, if y'all remember the movie Astral City, they was down in the hell or whatever, and this pulse of light happened, and it made some people look up. I think that's a good representation of what we reading. It is difficult, O sons and daughters of radiant power, to take up such a task as this, to be consistent, yea, to be insistent in the seeking to raise up those who are ruled over by darkness. What a life's work this will be for some who care to undertake it. Make this your path, ye that seek the way of resurrection, the noble path of attainment. Make it a part of your life's mission, and the germ of happiness will increase in the soul, because its power will be reflected back from those who have been aided by your prayers. That's dope. Slowly, yet surely, the consciousness will unfold on the inner planes of glory. Yes, brethren. Yes, sisters. Just as the day follows the night, So will the nighttime of the soul, give place to the sweet assurance of the spiritual reality and the presence of angels. For those who have already come in contact with angels, ain't nothing you can tell them. They know that they're real. The day of, or anybody who has had a real spiritual experience, how you gonna convince them that they didn't? They know what happened. The day of uprising will come, and the sun of the soul will illuminate the path by its radiant splendor. This is your paradors, your higher you. You shall live and live until the renewal of grace constantly. Around about this world, there falls a shadow from the underworld. A cry of terror rends the air. A stigma mars the beauty of the fair. There is no crown without a cross. There is no gain without a loss. But who would live to himself alone, or kill to gain a lordly throne, when once the Son of Righteousness have found the walking soul to bless? But who would live to himself alone, or kill to gain a lordly throne, when once the Son of Righteousness hath found who hath found the waking soul to bless? The shadow from the underworld, when the banner of light shall be unfurled by the sons and daughters in light who come, shall pass away in the harvest home. Of souls redeemed through Amareth, of love with triumphs over death. There is a cross that is a cross of light, and in the loss of earth we gain a height. I think we're gonna finish this one, the vernal equinox, right? Chapter 7, and we're gonna end it with this, and we'll pick it up tomorrow in the morning. Just as the rising sun ushers in another day, even so, O seeker of the path, the dawn of a new life is a newer understanding of the Great Spirit. This understanding is the awakening of the heart, which has hitherto slumbered in the sleep of not knowing. To start to know the Great Spirit is the putting aside of all limitations of consciousness. Wow. And the opening of the heart to attunement with all its creations. We have felt sympathy before, but to feel sympathy and not know why is to be confused by your own limitations. But now we understand that his great love, who created us, has created all, because his love is life. And we are a part of the universal life. The love of the Creator is life itself. And we are part of the universal life, hence the universal love. Planetary sympathies, yea, and more. Sympathies with everything that lives. A seeking for corresponding harmonies. This is getting your so-called getting back in one with nature. These sympathies are not effort of the soul to find the joy from which it is alien. It is the desire for a oneness or at one-ment. And just as we reach up, so do the angels of the ascension reach down to us. Therefore, look up to them in this awakening. They will enable us by the power that their presence inspires to master the 7 tetrics, and in the mastery we shall be lifted up. For those who get a little spooky on this, they talking about your ancestors. Behold then the awakening, the quickening of the faculties that belong to the spirit itself. And with this quickening, a new consciousness of the self appears. It is here that we need self-abnegation. It is when we discern the many as one that the door of salvation from the great illusion, they always talking about a matrix, from the great illusion is wide open. So does the elder brother of the lodge cry out at dawn, always was. He say, all was, all is, all shall ever be. So shall he who sees that the many are one find a throbbing note in the universe. Cry aloud with the elder brother. All things have speech. Where am I at? This then is the awakening, when the heart begins to feel that something lives within which is eternal and there is no death. This something stirring within has been called the breath of dawn. And this first breath of awakening will quicken the voice within, even the silent voice, and the peace shall come, and destruction hurt no more the gossamer threads of the spirit's garments. Then will the soul feel sympathy for suffering, but let not the soul be cast down because of suffering. When the heart responds to the call of love, then let not the soul become immersed in that which is unlovely, lest the sky become overcast with the clouds of illusion, and in seeing not clearly, mistake the shadow for substance. That was deep. Over and above all, there is one. Over and above all, there is one. If you know that for a fact, hit me with a 5 in the chat. Over and above all, there is one. And his all-seeing eye is ever upon us. There is no separation save the illusion of separateness. And there are 3 spiritual resurrections which will take us out of the valley of illusion, the realm of ooze or destruction. Funny, when you read the books of Adam and Eve, they didn't go to the land of Nod. They went to the land of ooze. Disillusion, destruction. Hold on a second. When the 3 resurrections have been consummated in our spiritual unfoldment, we shall know the love adorable in all its fullness. And then before us stretches the vastness of the great emancipation, whose final goal is nirvanic bliss. Oh, Om, receive us. This is the female aspect of the creator. It's called Om. Funny, it is the sound that they say created all creation. That's the female aspect of the creator. Did y'all know that? I once stood in the proanus of a temple. I guess that's the fore area. Or it could be the back part. I don't know. Could be the Holy of Holies, the proanus. But he said, I once stood in the proanus of a temple, and I found the door within was closed, and turning, found one by my side who said to me, why turn back? And I answered, behold, the door is closed and locked. And as I looked at him, my desire to go in was greater than ever. Then he took a key from under his cloak, and after he explained the key, he bade me to put it in the lock and turn it, saying that he also desired to enter. Wondering why he had not turned the key himself, I did it as he commanded, when lo, the door opened, and I saw the courts within, even to the innermost, with its 7-branched candlestick. On looking around, I found my guide had gone. But since he had told me that love was the key, he explained the key. On looking around, I found my guide had gone, but since he had told me that love was the key and that he had bestowed it unto me, I felt happy, and lo, all around me shone the dawn. Now, if y'all know for a fact love is the key, hit me with a 6 in the chat. Huh? I think they cooking. Love is the key. Someday I shall see again him who bestowed unto me the key, but not till I reach the chamber wherein the master sits surrounded by his disciples. Let any who hear in hearing understand. This love of which we speak is heavenly, and such is its potency that it can change base metal into gold. Huh? This is the who are or what shall change the heart of the world. This love of which we speak is heavenly, and such is its potency that it can change base metal to gold. This is alchemy. So they're asking, and who or what shall change the heart of the world? Who will do alchemy on the heart of the world? Wow. 'Tis when the Iesu come, messengers of love, the love that faileth not, that ever lightens up the inner chamber. Huh? May the dawning of a new life for us be the harbinger of the dawn of the new light in the world, even unto its redemption. Shout to the Creator gang. All the gods and Nirvanian goddesses, peace. Salutation in the name of the one, right? And we'll pick it up right here at Hi Dan. You dig what I'm talking about? Tomorrow, we'll go ahead and pick up right there. You dig what I'm saying? Let's just cook a little bit. I'll drop the link. Anybody want to come in for a second? You dig what I'm talking about? I'll drop the link. Anybody want to jump in? Just come on in, jump in, man. But till then, let's just cook for a minute.
If your God told you to.
You said the Most High told me to?
Yeah.
Or man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is. Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is. Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is.
A 22-year-old woman told hotel workers in Holmes County that she had been directed by God. To go on a shooting spree about the solar eclipse, and that not long after she left the hotel in a purple Dodge Challenger driving to the interstate, traveling west, shooting into 2 cars. One of the drivers was shot in the neck, the other grazed in his arm.
If your God came to you right now, tonight, in pomp and glory, shining, and he commanded the death of your child, would you sacrifice your child?
If the Most High is going to do it, of course. If the Most High is going to do it, of course. If the Most High is going to do it, of course.
Peter Lucas Moses refers to himself as a radical religious person who is with the Black Hebrews. And he just pleaded guilty to killing a 4-year-old and a woman that he was living with. He killed the 4-year-old because he thought he was gay.
Moses believed 4-year-old Higginbotham was homosexual. Klein says Moses took Higginbotham to the garage, played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and shot him. Played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and shot him. Played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and shot him.
If God came to you and told you to sacrifice your kid, would you sacrifice your kid?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
God is called a terrible, demon-like power. God is called a terrible, demon-like power. God is called the terrible, demon-like power. So Napa means empty, you could say, or open. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible.
According to the criminal complaint, Polite told investigators God told him to shoot Pastor Germany. God told him to shoot Pastor Germany.
God told him to shoot Pastor Germany.
And he wanted to go to jail to clear his mind.
Would you kill your child or your grandchild if God told you to?
Oh, man.
So that's a yes?
Yeah, it's a yes. It's a yes.
It's a yes.
But I think that it would be a test. I don't think the Lord would actually tell you to do it. I think it would just be a test because we can see.
You'd be willing to go through with it?
I'll go through any trial the Lord puts me through.
He was leader Yahweh Ben Yahweh, the self-proclaimed Son of God. One day in 1981, her North Dade home became a house of death. Banks and her husband, Carlton Carey, had just returned from talking with police about another Yahweh member who had been decapitated. Today, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is charged in her attempted murder and the death of her husband. October 1986, Yahweh's take over an Opalaka apartment building. Two residents who were ordered to leave publicly complained. That night, both were shot to death.
Wow! Judah, do you hear me? If the Most High Yahweh tells you to kill your family, would you do it? Yes or no?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Oh, Judah, no.
Damn.
Judah didn't mean that, y'all.
If the Most High say, put your family down, would you do it for the Most High?
By faith, yes. By faith, yes.
By faith, yes.
But he's going to tell me not to do it, just like he did Abraham. We have a story like that already. Next.
The moral law is that if a child was to be rebellious, towards their parents, they was to be taken down and stoned to death because of that. You see what I'm saying?
Would you do that? Would you do that if your God came back to you today in glory and said, I want you to stone your son if he get rebellious? Would you? Would you do it?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would.
Wow.
The Most High was to come to you and ask you to off your loved ones. Would you do it, brother? The Most High was to come to you and ask you to off your loved ones. Would you do it, brother?
If I had made the mistake, if I had ancestors inside of me and I made the mistake to make babies with outside nations, and then I heard the download from my ancestors saying that you need to put them away, yes, I will put them away. Yes, I will put them away.
Okay, Judah Nazareth, if the Most High come to you and say, I want you to put down your family, I have a better movement for you that I need you to do, would you do it?
They're out of here. They're out of here. They're out of here.
With that being said, you dig what I'm talking about. We ain't getting nobody to hit the link, so you know what I mean. Y'all know what I need you to do. You know what I need you to do. For real. I just need y'all to breathe in. Let that light in. God's mind. Come on.
And oh yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feel it when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh
Just that Chow Feft, that Chow Mein, that Papa Bull, that Tao Mein, since sun south in the arc of Wayne. My brain moving like Tao Zane, so as above, it's so below. That up and that down thing, this flow is atmospherian. I call that a ground game. See, water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning. So how your God make a sun without vortexing current? See, the pattern is ponic, I'm reaching out for my people. Oh, watch me flow through your speakers, you feel the force of the ethers. And when the force gets the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing political. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with higher water. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Kavita. Rap a lot just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sela. Got more torque than a sports car. Got more work than a door star. And the 4 million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar. Oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Super 7 in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bridegroom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how to last Ahuin is now a Angui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God's, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. Oh, watch me flow, it's so potent. Set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you making salat. Well, I'm a Israelite, I'ma make him at the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faithful. So yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah.
Shoo! Anetrak Amset.
Anetrak Unbet Het.
Shoo! Anetrak Amset.
Chrak Ast.
Nuke Ast. Shoo!
Nuke Amset. Chrak Ast.
Anetrak Amset.
Nuke Ast.
Shoo!
Anetrak Unbet Het.
Shoo!
Nuke.
Shoo!